file 22747NA. Hannah Hallowell, file 24588. And Amaya Hallowell, file 23176NA.
Very good. We are on record for a review as it relates to the two NA cases, review and permanency planning in both of those cases, and then the outstanding petition for guardianship request on behalf of Hannah Hallowell. So let's have introductions. Let's start with our parties associated with 22-747. That's the oldest case for the oldest child. If I could have the names of our participants, please, beginning with our guardian ad litem.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Nicole Underwood, lawyer, guardian ad litem on behalf of Hannah.
Okay. And for the department on that case?
Yes, Kim Berger on behalf of DHHS.
Alice Nickerson, attorney for respondent father Sean Hollowell.
Okay, and then who do we have from the department on this case?
Right, Julie Wright, I am the foster care supervisor and will be testifying today.
Okay, so who's the regular worker?
Her name is Erin Quagan.
Okay. I do see Erin Quagan logged in.
Yes, I'm here. I'm homesick, ma'am.
Okay, thank you for clarifying. All right, so who else do we have then on this file? There should be
I believe Alexis Stang on behalf of Hannah Hallowell and filling in for Katerina Dumont.
On the other file, yeah.
Yes. Very good. And then the mother of Hannah Hallowell remains excused, having not appeared in a significant number of hearings. We'll look for Ms. Wright if you've got any information, any updates on her location, or just to reassure us that you continue to try to loop her in on what's happening. And as it relates to your client, Ms. Nickerson, we typically have him from MDOC, but I don't see him logged in today. Is that something you were aware of or not aware of was going to be happening?
I wasn't aware that he wouldn't be present. I did speak with him February 11th, but I didn't know anything about him not being able to appear today.
Okay, I will ask my assistant to check in with MDOC to make sure that he's had his opportunity to participate and that somebody from MDOC can confirm that for us.
Yep.
Okay, all right, so let's go to the next case then, 23-176 for appearances there. I know, Ms. Berger, you continue to represent DHS on that file.
Yeah, that's
Ms.
my
Wright?
update.
Yes, yep.
Okay, yes.
Ms. Wright, do you intend to offer your testimony as it relates to updates on that file as well?
That is correct.
Very good. Okay, so who then is representing, so Ms. Stang, are you continuing then to represent Hannah on behalf of Katerina, I'm assuming?
Yes.
I know there was another participant here too, Devin Eichler, who had attempted to release.
Miss Miller should be here as GAL for Amaya.
Yes,
Oh,
I
yes.
am here.
Oh, thank you. Okay, all right. And then the guardianship case is sort of just running in the background, I think, in this one. But there are some participants for that as well. It doesn't look like we have the DHS investigator on that file, but our pro per participants, potentially. I see Jeremy's iPhone logged in. Are you Jeremy Hallowell? If you could confirm.
No, this is Jeremy Neffler and Hannah Hallowell.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Okay. Thank you for joining us.
How do I mute it?
Papa. Papa.
All right, so let's start with some updates as it relates to one of our NA cases as we look for our other two participants, the father in these cases. You want to start with Amaya's updates or Hannah's? Which one of our GALs would like to go first?
Your Honor, I'm happy to. For Amaya.
Go right ahead, Ms. Miller.
Thank you. I was able to meet with Amaya in my office on March 6th. She came in with her mother and with Jeremy Neffler. I was able to meet with her mom. She was very uncomfortable being alone with me, Amaya was, so I didn't want to stress her out and do that to her. But she looks wonderful. She's very happy, smiling. She enjoyed reading books in my office. She brought with her a large stuffed teddy bear, about as big as she is, and she was snuggling that bear and having fun reading books to him. She's very talkative. She's really coming out of her shell. She looks good, clean, healthy. When I talk with Amaya, she says that she's only afraid of spiders. And that's understandable. She feels happy and she enjoys Papa and Mama. She enjoys reading and she knows her colors. She's very affectionate. And I was actually really thrilled to see when Amaya's bear was unable to read one of the books that he wanted to read. Amaya went over and gave him a hug and patted him and said, "It's okay, I love you." And was really very affectionate with him. These are some changes I've actually seen in Amaya since the last time I met with her. Last time she seemed a lot more withdrawn, shy, quiet. She seems a lot more open and talkative now. And I was very pleased to see her reaction with her teddy bear. To be honest, I've never seen her interact with a toy that way. But I think she's learning that somewhere, probably from her mother and probably from Mr. Neffler as well, I would imagine. But she's definitely responding in a way that I would want to see her respond, with love and concern and that with comfort. So I hope that means that she's receiving that at home, and I think it probably does. She seems very attached to her mom. That bond is very strong. She didn't want her mom to leave. She wanted mom to stay in the room with her to talk to me. She's also very attached with Mr. Neffler, who she calls Papa. As soon as we got out of the room, she ran to him, gave him a big hug, showed him her bear. So seems very attached to both of them. I spoke with mom a little bit without Amaya. Amaya waited with her papa in the waiting room. She said that she is doing well in Hannah's opinion as well. She was having some issues at school. She was enrolled in a preschool program. She was coming home with some bad words, flipping people off, screaming when she'd get a diaper change, kind of throwing tantrums, things that she wasn't doing before she went. Hannah did remove her from the preschool program. She said that she was willing to work through those issues with the preschool, but because they were most likely going to move to Grandma Sharon's house, she did not want to undergo that stress or have Amaya have to undergo that stress. So at this point, she just pulled her out. And I don't have a problem with that. Amaya is preschool age. It's not required that she's there. And I can understand Hannah's concern with those behaviors. I wouldn't want my child to be learning those things either. Hannah, I talked with Hannah about what she thought might be best as far as Amaya goes. She said Amaya does know Grandma Sharon and Papa Kevin is Sharon's husband, that what they call him. I asked Amaya if she knows them. She said yes, she likes them. That's all she said. She didn't have a lot to expound on. But Hannah said that Amaya does know them pretty well. She gets along with them very well and loves them, and they love her. I was impressed that Hannah's main goal in all of this was that Amaya is taken care of and stays with her. And she said to me, I don't want to do anything that would jeopardize my relationship with Amaya. And that's my first priority. So I think that's really, Hannah's really come a long way in that. That makes me very happy to see. I know that her goal is to protect Amaya and that she wants to do whatever Amaya needs to have done. So that makes me very happy for Amaya. I do, I don't know, is the court ready? Would you like me to give my opinion as far as the, what's being presented today as far as recommendations, or will that come later?
That's up to you. You're welcome to do that now, or if you'd like to listen to the testimony first and then give us your recommendations at the end, or you can do both. If something happens that changes that for you.
I would probably prefer to hear the testimony just to make sure that there's nothing that would change my opinion. So, but overall, I think that Amaya is really doing well. I'm happy with her placement with her mom. I think that's actually been a really good thing for both of them. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Underwood.
Your Honor, I was able to meet with Hannah and Amaya actually via FaceTime earlier this week. It was a productive conversation and meeting. We also met with her court-appointed attorney just to talk through potential next steps and what life might look like moving forward. But as Ms. Miller indicated, Hannah's daughter is doing very well, and I think that that's a testament to Hannah's excellent progress in her parenting abilities and how she's been able to raise Amaya despite the challenges that she has consistently faced throughout her teenage years. But she's enrolled in school online and is able to participate in that. We did discuss briefly what life may look like moving forward with the anticipation of a move. And echoing Miss Miller again, I feel like I'll be doing a lot of that throughout my report, but Hannah wants what's best for herself and her daughter, and that is her main priority. And I think that, again, that's very commendable considering the circumstances in Hannah's age. But I do believe that she is smart enough and wise enough to advocate for herself. And she has an attorney to do that for her as well. But I believe at this point in time, again, she is doing well. However, moving placements would be, in my opinion, in her best interest. And again, I would reserve any further comments after hearing the testimony provided by anybody giving said testimony today. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Berger, did you want to offer anything by way of introduction today, or are you ready to proceed with testimony?
I think I'd just go with Miss Wright. I think she's going to offer more testimony, and then we can kind of go from there.
Very good.
More
Ms.
specific.
Nickerson, Ms. Nickerson, Ms. Stang, did you want to say anything before we get into testimony?
No, thank you.
So I apologize, I would be speaking on the case for Hannah. Am I supposed to be speaking on that case right now?
Sure.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I thought you represented Sean Hallowell.
I do, and so I would only be talking with regard to Hannah's specific NA case and not Amaya's. So that's why I couldn't remember now which one you went with first.
Oh, sorry. So, okay. So maybe I should say this for the record too. So we've consolidated the reviews, considering that both of them live in the same household and they're going to be interacting with the same people. It seemed best to consolidate the review testimony. Ms. Wright's going to be testifying as it relates to both of them. So just to get a good picture of everything, I'm just consolidating them, if that's okay with you.
Makes sense. I would like to state then, I did speak with Sean. We had a phone appointment because of the prison policy. He had to initiate the call, but we were able to schedule it. And so I was thankful for that. I did then send an email afterwards to, I think I got everybody, the attorneys involved in the case, because at that time, Sean had explained to me that he would not stipulate to a move for Hannah with the maternal grandmother, and he gave me his reasons, and he felt that she wouldn't properly supervise Hannah because of what had occurred the last time Hannah was in her care. He had indicated that he had tried to intervene because he was afraid of Hannah being involved with Mr. Eichler, and that he felt that his concerns fell on deaf ears, my wording, not his. And he had also worried about supervision of his son at the time and riding bicycle. He wanted for Hannah to be able to continue to stay with the Nefflers. I explained I did not view that as an alternative based on court order. Plus, it really isn't honestly fair to the Neffler family to have that mother placed outside of the home forever from her husband and children. And he said that he understood that. He did say that he wanted to make sure that Hannah knew he doesn't have contact with her, but he wanted to just make sure that she knew, that he was very proud of her as the mother that she is and has become. And so he just wants what's best for her. And I have nothing more to add.
All right, thank you. And we continue to try to see if we can secure his presence for today. And we'll make a note next time to ensure that we reach out to them ahead of time to get him arranged. We had him here last time, so I'm not sure what happened. So we'll figure it out. Okay, Ms. Berger, you ready to head into testimony then?
Yes, please.
Deputy Ames, if you could swear Ms. Julie Wright, please.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. All right.
Ms. Wright, a report was generated for the court for this review period. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
And as a supervisor, you've had the opportunity to review it and all of prior case notes and everything that's going on?
Yes, that is correct.
And per the department, how are, I'm going to say the children, because I'm going to consider Hannah at the children. How is Hannah and Amaya doing in, as it relates to DHHS's opinion?
I believe the children are doing well. Hannah and Amaya have a great relationship. Hannah does very well as mom. She wants what's best for her daughter. And when we have conversations with her about the expectations, she realizes that she needs to do what's going to be best for her daughter.
And do you believe that Hannah currently is doing that?
Yes, she is.
Do you think that she can, based on kind of what you've seen and what she's done, that she could continue to take care of Amaya and do what's in her best interest?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So the court is also kind of, as we said, trailing around a guardianship that were filed by the Nepplers for Amaya, or for Hannah, and then eventually Amaya. And what is the department's stance on that?
Stance is that we are not in a position to make a recommendation for the guardianship with the Nepplers. And given the prior investigations that were completed regarding Lori, we don't support the kids remaining in their care.
Okay. And during this time period, DHHS did a evaluation of Sharon, Grandma Sharon, is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
And what's her full name?
Sharon Hicks Coe, I think it is.
And as it relates to the investigation, what was the department's position about placement or guardianship with Hannah and Grandma Sharon?
Her home study was approved. It was approved by myself and then our director as well.
Okay. And would that be the recommendation of the department?
Yes.
Okay. So would it be placement and guardianship?
It would, I mean, to move towards guardianship, but initially placement, yes. We would like placement there while we work towards the guardianship.
Okay. And there were some concerns about grandmother's supervision of Hannah and other children in the past. That was brought up by Ms. Nickerson, and I know it's been mentioned throughout. Has the department taken that in consideration? What's been done? What's been talked about?
Yes, we did. We had conversations with Sharon herself and with Hannah to address the concerns with the supervision. We believe, given Hannah's age, she's 16 going on 17, that we can put in place a safety plan that addresses any concerns with supervision.
Okay. So what is it that the department is requesting from the court as of today?
The department would need an order indicating that the children are, well, not the children, Hannah is placed back with DHS, and we can make a recommendation for placement.
Okay.
At this
And
point, they're ordered to be placed, to remain where they're at.
Okay. So in order to allow you guys to change Hannah's placement to Grandma Sharon's, and then Amaya would still be placed with Hannah. So she would follow Hannah to Grandma Sharon's.
Yes, they would both go.
Okay. And then to deny the guardianship request by the Neplers based on all of the information that's been provided to the court on all of the allegations and prior CPS investigation.
Yes.
Okay.
That would be.
And then a possible move towards guardianship with Grandma Sharon and Hannah.
Yes.
Okay.
We need her to be there for a period of time to assess and make sure that the move is appropriate.
Okay. I don't think I have anything else then.
Okay, so I just want to point out that at the last juncture, when we were here, December 27th, 2024, the department was vested with the authority to direct placement for Hannah in 22747 NA.
Okay.
So I guess my question, given that Ms. Wright, is what does that transition look like in your opinion, if that is your intention to move Hannah over to Grandma Coach? Is it, wait, and she's here. How do we pronounce your last name? If you could unmute for a moment and listen.
It's Cook.
Cook, thank you. Sorry, I'm sure I asked you that last time too, but I appreciate it. All right, Ms. Wright, so what does that look like in your opinion to transfer over to Ms. Cook?
The plan would be to, as quickly as possibly, we would get their items packed and get her moved, or get them moved to Grandma's house. And we have paperwork that we need to have signed, completed by her the day that we move them.
A little clarification too, when you say guardianship, are you talking about a guardianship under the probate code or a juvenile court guardianship?
I would say a juvenile guardianship is what we would be moving towards. We're not in a position to recommend the guardianship at this point. We're recommending the placement change, but not the guardianship just yet.
So with Ms. Cook then, have you begun the process of assisting her in applying for licensing?
She hasn't applied for licensing. We had her enrolled in our Sigma, so receive payments for the girls when they go to her. We do have that in place, and we would have to look at licensure for her.
Very good. So would you be willing to begin that immediately, that licensing process, understanding that if juvenile guardianship does become the plan for the family, that would have to be in place for 6 months before we could finalize and release?
Yes, we would do that. And I do want the court to be aware, we have discussed transferring the case from Hillsdale DHS over to Foster Home Solutions, and they would be supervising the case for the Hannah and Amaya.
Thank you for that clarification. All right, questions for this witness, Ms. Stang?
Yes, just briefly. Are you aware that Ms. Cook did complete all services and classes?
Yeah, sorry,
yeah,
Ms. Stang, I kind of cut out sorry, I hate to interrupt, but I didn't hear all of what Ms. Stang said. Can you repeat that for me?
Yes, sorry. I just asked if Ms. Wright was aware that Ms. Cook did complete voluntary classes and services.
Yes, I was aware of that through the home study completion. Yes.
Okay, one more pause, sorry, because I think we have had someone join us. Sir, could you give us your name for the record? Are you Sean Hallowell?
Yes, ma'am. Sean Hallowell.
Okay. Great, okay, welcome, thank you. Our review hearing is underway for both Hannah and Amaya, but we're glad you could join us.
I'm gonna shut this door.
Okay, go ahead with your next question, Ms. Day.
Thank you. Ms. Wright, I know you said that you would hope to have Hannah and Amaya moved as soon as possible and have their things packed, but realistically, how soon, I guess, what is the earliest that you think that could occur?
One of the things I guess I would be looking for the court order to say, that they're placed back with DHS and we can have that decision. I would imagine we could do that by tomorrow. I have, the worker and I have discussed it, and the plan would be for her to be able to go have the kids move by tomorrow and go see them in the home.
Okay, I have nothing further. Thank you.
Okay, so as I understand it, Amaya was released to Hannah, which seems to be a bit of a legal challenge, considering that Amaya is a minor and Hannah is also a minor. So when you say that you want a placement authority for both children, are you effectively asking the court to resume jurisdiction over Amaya?
I apologize. No, we want Amaya to remain placed with her mother. That is our recommendation for her. And then have DHS have placement and supervision of Hannah.
And Judge, I think this has been part of the problem that we've had from when we started with Hillsdale. And I think it's some of the verbiage that has been used is that we've never released Amaya. Maya's been placed with mom under the care and supervision of DHHS. We've never actually released her from jurisdiction. So I think sometimes the wording is being kind of intertwined or interchanged when kind of that's not how it was meant to be. So.
Well, I think the issue was the judge in Hillsdale did effectively release Amaya, but I'm reviewing the last order. She had been returned to the care of her mother on August 15th, 2024. So technically, the verbiage is unfortunately quite important because what happens is the subsidies available for that child, practically speaking, ceased. And as I recall, that was confirmed that the subsidies available for Maya had terminated because the Hillsdale court had effectively returned Amaya to the care of her mother. So in order to trigger those subsidies and the authority of the court, as well as the authority of the department, this child would have to have effectively been under the placement effectively of the department and then also placed with the mother for jurisdictional purposes. So I guess from what I'm hearing you say, Ms. Berger, is that is what the department would like to have, which is the placement with the mother, but under the jurisdiction of the court and the supervision of the department. Is that accurate?
I believe that's what we'd like.
All right. Are there objections to that, or do the other attorneys believe that that would be in the best interest of the children? Have you had some time to think about this? Let's go to Ms. Stang first.
Judge, I honestly have not had a chance to speak with Hannah about that, just due to me filling in for Katarina. I wasn't given information that they had actually spoken about that issue.
Okay. Okay, well, we might have to table that for the moment. But I guess I want to go back to Ms. Wright for just a moment. So Ms. Wright, do you, I just want to make sure it's clear that the placement authority for Hannah has been with CPS since December. Were you aware of that?
No, I was not. And I guess I thought the last order that had said that we could not move Hannah or Amaya without the court's permission.
Well, I think. Look. Okay, well, as we confirm that, let's move on to Ms. Nickerson. Do you have any questions for Ms. Ray?
I do not. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Miller?
Yes, I do have a couple. Ms. Wright, I wonder if the department has considered or asked the Nefflers about keeping the status as is with Lori Neffler out of the home and the no contact order in place and the children remaining in the Neffler home. Is that something the department considered? And I guess what is the main reason for the change in placement?
That is not something DHS would consider. Our recommendation is that the girls move. I understand that Lori's out of the house, but I mean, to be honest, like for long term, is that, I mean, feasible for, you know, a family moving on, you know, so Jeremy and Lori are still married. We think it would be in the kids' best interest that they move and not, I guess, have that family in that position any longer.
So it sounds like you're saying it would be best for the Neffler family, in your opinion?
The Nefflers and for the girls to move, yes.
Okay. I guess what's the main reason that it's in the best interest of the girls, is what I'm wondering.
This move will put them back with their family. They will have that relationship. They've continued that relationship, I guess. I know they've been around Sharon on and off since the move from her home. And I guess, I mean, really, to be honest, the recommendation and it being in their best interest is that I don't feel that it's good for Hannah or Amaya to remain in the home where Lori was found to be substantiated for the sexual abuse.
Okay.
Whether there was charges or not, but that is the finding of the investigation. That hasn't changed.
Sure. I guess is that you wouldn't find it in their best interest to be in Lori's presence or in the home itself?
I would say both. I can't say that the Neffler family follows every safety plan that we have in place, that Lori's never around. She has her children, they reside in the home. And I think it would be better for the girls not to have to be in a position where they can't be in the home if Lori's going to come over to see her children.
Okay. So currently the girls have to leave the home if Lori wants to come visit her children, and it's some upheaval for the girls.
Yeah, my understanding is that is how things happen. Is that they can't be in the home because they can't have contact with Lori. They can't be in the home if she wants to be in the home and see her children.
Okay. It sounds like it's a little bit chaotic when Lori wants to visit with her family and then the girls have to find a place to go and then they come back and okay.
Yes.
And is it something that you've discussed with the Nefflers? As far as whether or not they would, well, not the Nefflers together, but with Mr. Neffler, I'm asking because I believe that Amaya has a pretty strong bond with Mr. Neffler. Is he still willing to be part of her life, to do visits with her, and rather than simply cut that relationship off completely?
I have not personally had a conversation with him. I believe he would like to maintain a relationship with her if she moves. And not drop that connection. And I would agree. I know that they have a strong relationship. I know she calls him Papa. So yeah, I think it's going to be really difficult for Amaya and Hannah to be away from them, away from Jeremy. But I want them to be able to maintain a relationship.
Okay. So the department would not oppose that relationship if he would want to come visit or the girls would visit with him somewhere in public or whatever it might be.
Jeremy, no, we would be able to support that. With Lori, no, we cannot support that.
Sure. Okay. And I guess I just want to make sure keeping the girls where they are now is not even something the department discussed with Jeremy, if they would be willing to continue it the way it is, because the department is simply recommending the move.
I have not had that conversation with, I'm not sure if Ms. Quagan had that conversation with him, but I have not had that conversation
Okay.
with Mr. Neffler.
Ms. Wright, could you get just a little closer to your microphone, please? It's hard to hear kind of at the end of some of your sentences. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. I really have no further questions for this witness. Thank you.
All right. Yes, I will. I just want to say Ms. Wright does have a pretty good understanding of the last order, which was January 21st, 2025, indicating the minor child is placed with HHS for care and supervision. However, in order to change the placement, the parties could stipulate to the change, or DHHS may move the court for an order to change the minor child's placement. And that was awaiting the complete home studies, which is referenced in paragraph 4, as relates to Ms. Cook and the potential competing placement at that time, which was Lori Neffler's mother. So that's where we were and are with the request to move Hannah and Amaya to Ms. Cook, effective as part of today's proceedings. Is that right, Ms. Wright?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so questions then from Ms. Underwood.
I believe that all the questions I would have asked have been already asked, so I have no further questions. Thank you.
Ms. Nickerson, did you have any questions?
I do not. Thank you.
Very good. All right. Ms. Wright, were you able to understand what the current practice is that the Nefflers are affecting in order to follow the court's directive to prohibit contact between Lori Neffler and Hannah and Amaya?
I haven't had a direct conversation with Mr. Neffler about it, but my understanding is that if Lori were to come to the home, the girls would be somewhere else. They would not be in the home, and she would come over to see the other children.
But we don't know, practically speaking, what measures were taken to implement such a visit?
I don't have the firsthand knowledge. I don't know if Ms. Quagan had that, but I don't know.
All right. And do we know whether or not Hannah and Amaya have spent any time with Ms. Cook in her home since the last hearing in January?
I don't know the answer to that. I don't know if they have.
Okay. All right. That's all right. All right. Any questions based on my questions? Now would be your opportunity, counselors.
No, thank you.
Nothing. Thank you.
No,
No,
you're
thank
right.
you.
No, thank you.
All right. Ms. Berger, do you have any other witnesses today you'd like us to hear from?
No, that would be it. Thank you.
Okay. Any witness testimony today, Ms. Nickerson?
None. Thank you.
Ms. Stang?
I would just ask if Hannah wishes to testify today or not.
Okay, I think she is logged in under Jeremy. You can let us know, Hannah, if you'd like to speak today.
No, I don't.
Okay, nothing. Thank you, Your Honor.
Anyone you'd like us to hear from? Ms. Miller?
No, I have no witnesses. Thank you.
Ms. Underwood?
No, Your Honor, I thought that Hannah was going to speak today on her desired placement, but I guess Ms. Stang and I can speak on her behalf.
Very well. Comments in closing then, beginning with Ms. Berger.
Yes, Your Honor, we just ask that you allow DHHS the order or the ability to place or move placement of Hannah and Amaya to Ms. Cook's house, kind of from here on out. The study for the guardianship has been undertaken, but they need to be there for a little while to see how it goes. Sharon's already done some classes and has taken some responsibility for some of the things that she's done in the past. So I think at this point in time, the placement should be changed to Sharon's house. I know that Hannah's been with the Netflix for quite a long time and it does have a bond with them, but keeping Lori out of the home and, Hannah there, it's not really feasible for any of them for a long duration of time. I mean, you're splitting up one family, Lori's family, in order to do this when there's an alternative solution that would allow kind of her family to reunite and then Hannah to be safe and secure and Amaya to be safe and secure with Grandma Sharon. So we do ask for that. There's also that guardianship that's pending. We would ask that you just deny that outright at this point in time because that was the guardianship the Neplers filed kind of to go circumvent the neglect case that we had here in Hillsdale. So at least then we can take care of that portion and we won't have that one just kind of trailing around with us.
Ms. Bridger, I apologize if my questioning sort of interrupted your flow today, but we also have 2 proposed court reports, and I'm not sure if you wanted those into evidence for that.
Sorry, yep, I just don't think about what we usually do at the first here. But yes, I would ask that the court reports be admitted into evidence into both files. Thanks.
Objections?
No objection.
No objection.
Objection.
No objection.
Thank you, they are admitted. Last question for Ms. Wright. The C.G. Howard absent parent. I did notice there was a reference in one of the court reports that there was a prescription potentially picked up, that she picked up in Adrian. If I could just ask you, maybe in the next report period, because obviously it doesn't look like we're closing, to perhaps put together something in the absent parent protocol to document the efforts that the department is continuing to make to reach out to CG. I would appreciate it.
Yes, that will be taken care of.
Thank you. All right, and then I saw a couple of updates on Mr. Sean Hallowell as well in the report, but you really didn't speak to anything that's been happening with him. Is there anything of note that you wanted to share as far as it relates to Mr. Hallowell?
Not that I'm aware of. He is, whatever services he's able to do in prison, I believe is what he's been doing.
Well, and I'll count on our attorneys to let me know if you have any questions or anything else. As you make your way through your final statements, Ms. Nickerson, let's go to you first.
Thank you. Sean wasn't present yet when I had earlier stated what his concerns were about the placement change. So because of that, I'm not able to ask the court to make that placement change to the maternal grandmothers because I did speak with Sean before receiving the home report, but quite honestly, from my review of that report, I don't really think that there's probably contents in there that would change his position on that. Sean didn't have a whole lot else when I spoke with him mid-February to update as far as services within the prison facility. So I'm not able to give any additional update beyond what he's already talked about in past hearings and what's been noted, that he completes services that are available to him. But he can correct me if I'm wrong. When I spoke with him last, I don't recall him at that point actively engaging in any new or different service. So I have nothing more to add. Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Stang.
Yes, thank you. So it is Hannah's wish that she be able to be moved to be placed with her grandmother, Sharon Cook, and keep placement of Amaya, her daughter, with her. From the testimony given today and the guardian ad litem reports, it's, I think, clear that Amaya and Hannah have a very close bond. It sounds like the general consensus is that there's not really any concerns, major concerns for Hannah's placement with Miss Cook, and that everybody believes that it is in both Hannah and Amaya's best interest for them to remain together. So our request would just be that Hannah is able to be placed with Miss Cook as soon as possible and keep her daughter Amaya placed with her.
Okay. Oh, Ms. Dumont is joining us. We'll have to tell her that you've already accomplished all of her goals.
She's getting on just because I have another hearing in Monroe at 2:30, so.
Very good, thank you. All right, comments in closing, Ms. Miller.
Thank you, Your Honor. My main concern would be that Amaya's best interest is followed through with. And so I think at this time, she does have a very strong bond with Mr. Neffler. I would be okay with her remaining there. However, I am with that no contact order in place with Mrs. Neffler. However, I believe that it's more important that she remains with her mother. And if Hannah is to be moved with her grandmother Hicks Cook, I would want Amaya there as well. I don't have concerns about Amaya's safety there. Of course, there have been some things in the past that have happened that would be concerning, but I do believe that Hannah is doing a very good job and will work to protect her daughter as well. So not only will she have her grandma Sharon helping her, but she'll have her mother there, who's her main protector. I would ask that if Amaya is there with Hannah, that there would be an order that should Devin Eichler be released. I don't know what his release date is, that he would have no contact. That was really one of the main concerns earlier and the reason that Hannah was removed in the first place. And then I would also ask that Jeremy Neffler, and I don't think anybody's brought up that this would be ordered, but that he would still be able to have contact, that there would be no contact order would be put in place regarding him, because they do have a very strong bond, he and Amaya do. So I'd want him to be able to continue that relationship with her for her benefit. But that would really be my recommendation at this time.
Okay, Mr. Sean Hallowell, what is your earliest release date? Oh, okay. Is there a way that you could unmute on your end? You got a lot of noise coming from that microphone, so I had to mute you. All right.
I got no way.
There we go. Okay, we can hear you now.
All right. My earliest release date was April 29th of this year. Actually, it's going to go a little longer. I got put into a D47 program, which is for my mental health. So they're going to take a little bit of time to get me some doctor's appointments and stuff set up so that I remain on my meds and continue doing good.
Great.
So I'm looking about June or June-ish.
Of 2025?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and is that your earliest release date or your maximum release date?
No, it's my earliest.
So you'd be on you would anticipate being on probation or parole?
Yes.
Okay, where would it be your intention to reside at once you're released?
I'm trying to go back to my mom's farm home so I can use the farm to get back on my feet.
And your mom is Ms. Cook, Sharon?
No, Dana Castle.
No, sorry. Okay, all right, so not in the same residence that we're talking about putting Hannah and Amaya.
No, but okay. It is the same. It is where the other two children are.
Okay. All right, thank you for that. Okay. Ms. Underwood, any comments today?
Yes, Your Honor. After reviewing the file and speaking with Hannah, as well as the caseworkers in this file, I do believe it's in Hannah's best interest to support the department's recommendation to move the children to Miss Cook's home. I believe that it is important that Hannah and her daughter be with family if at all possible, and Miss Cook is an appropriate placement, and she has done what she needs to do both now and even before, to take classes and receive assistance and help that she might need in order to be a better caregiver for Hannah and Amaya. I also believe that Hannah's school will not be interrupted with the move, which is important. And there are so many opportunities and services available in Washtenaw County that will further support Hannah and her daughter as they move forward. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, the court finds all interested parties were given notice for purposes of the review and permanency planning hearings scheduled in both Hannah and Amaya Hallowell's cases today, as well as in the guardianship file. I do think it's appropriate to deny the guardianship case for reasons that have been well articulated as the journey towards permanency and a change in placement for Hannah and Amaya has evolved. Namely, that the request filed by Jeremy and Lori Neffler would mean that it would put Lori Neffler potentially in a position of authority over Hannah and Amaya, and that's been shown to be not appropriate. And this court concurs with the Department of Health and Human Services that, and has documented that in orders entered in the last couple of hearings, that Ms. Neffler should not be around the children, that there's a substantiated allegation of abuse in the home that puts them at risk. They have worked towards, Hannah and Amaya have both worked towards moving to the home of Sharon Cook, and the court does agree that that is also in their interests. I will clarify the orders to indicate that Hannah and Amaya both remain under the jurisdiction of the court. I'll look at those orders to try to bring those into compliance with what the court has intended, both in the order entered 12/27/2024 as well as today. I doubt that there's anything I can do retroactively as far as how that's been affected by the court order that was issued last August. As far as this court's concerned, the child, the 3-year-old child, should be and is under the jurisdiction of the court for purposes of placement as of today. Her mother is also a minor and requires the supervision, jurisdiction, and support of the court until permanency has been achieved for her. And her father has released his parental rights. So there's no question that Amaya Hallowell should be a ward of the, or I'm sorry, under the jurisdiction of the court with this supervision of the department for purposes of working towards a permanent, stable situation for her. I will say also that there's no question that that should involve her mother, Ms. Hannah Hallowell, 16 going on 17. Hannah also needs the support of an adult in navigating both for herself as well as for her daughter. And Ms. Sharon Cook does appear to be appropriate for purposes of placement and to look at segueing into permanency in that arrangement, whether that's by way of juvenile guardianship or otherwise, or even perhaps APLA, depending on how long the process of juvenile guardianship would take. So I'll continue to leave the goal open as it relates to both of the minor children in this case, given that that may take the form of a probate court jurisdiction, a juvenile court guardianship, and possibly APLA, just looking at what Hannah's goals are as we move forward. Both of the children will remain under the jurisdiction of the court for placement, for funding, for support and services. Mr. Sean Hallowell, obviously looking towards release. We'll look for an update as it relates to the department's efforts to refer him to any services that he may need in order to transition successfully from incarceration to his release, and to work with the MDOC in supporting their efforts with whatever efforts the department can as he moves forward into the next phase of things. And as that may relate to what, if any, contact Hannah and Amaya have with him. The court's order prohibiting contact between Lori Neffler, Amaya, and Hannah will continue moving forward. There is not a no contact in place as it relates to Jeremy Neffler. I'm not going to enter any order indicating that there's a prohibition of contact And I think Mr. Neffler understands that he will need to respect the no contact associated with Lori and not compromise that in his efforts to maintain his relationship and support of Hannah and Amaya moving forward. As it relates to the move itself, Hannah and Amaya will be allowed to relocate to Ms. Cook. I will not require that that be done today, but I am officially moving, let's put it this way. The court order will indicate that the placement will be changed for Hannah and Amaya over to Ms. Cook as of today. Practically speaking, I would expect that the department would set up a family team meeting and talk about that transition and how that is best effectuated. I would also ask that there be supports in place in Ms. Cook's house, and that may mean reaching out to Washtenaw County Department of Health and Human Services to see if any referrals can be made for programs, including potentially intensive home services, home therapeutic services, family reunification programming, maybe even an orchards class, something that can help Ms. Cook and Hannah and Amaya adjust as successfully as possible into this new placement. That's giving a nod to some of the concerns that Ms. Nickerson has expressed about the structure in that whole household. And I know that the department has already made some strides in discussing that and talking about safety planning and the structure in the home. But I think that it could be best to ask Washtenaw to cooperatively make a referral to one of their programs in that area where Ms. Cook lives to further support that move. So I'll look for evidence at the next court hearing that such a relationship with Washtenaw and a referral to that particular support should be made within the next 14 days. Anticipating that also the family team meeting and the transition of Hannah and Amaya into Ms. Cook's home is also going to be happening within the next 14 days, or at least the planning around that will be happening in the next 14 days. The placement with the Department of Health and Human Services for Hannah and Amaya both remains the safest and least restrictive, moving them from the Nefflers over to Ms. Cook's household to continue under the supervision and support of the Department of Health and Human Services, considering that Mr. Sean Hallowell continues to be incarcerated and needs to demonstrate that he's made progress on his goals, which he has to an extent. And we look forward to seeing how his progress evolves once his release is complete, and I'm sure we'll still have jurisdiction at the time that occurs. So I'll be interested in those updates and how he's doing by the time we come back in June. Also, Ms. C.G. Howard continues to be absent. She has been for a significant period of time. As I articulated in his right, look for the absent parent protocol to be adhered to as it relates to Ms. C.G. Howard. But she's unavailable to her daughter and her granddaughter at this time, certainly for placement, making the placement with the department the safest under and least restrictive under the circumstances. For all of those reasons articulated by the court today, as well as in the prior hearings. All right, for our next review on both files, we would be looking into June. I would offer to you the afternoon of Tuesday, June 3rd at 1:30 p.m.
I'm good with that.
All right. So we'll schedule that next review and permanency planning hearing in 22747 as well as 23176. And I'll look forward to all the updates that I've articulated on the record today. I'll do my best to author an order that captures everything that we went through today to help support the department as they prepare for the next review and prepare to assist the family in the transitions that are to come in the near future. We'll also issue an order denying the request for guardianship for all the reasons frankly articulated at the hearing back in January about the concerns associated with the Neffler home, and understanding that that home is anticipated from everything that I've heard that will be going back to the nuclear family that was in place before the court's order for no contact was in place. And that would not serve the interests of Hannah or Amaya. So that's going to be denied. I'll issue an order to that effect. I think that's it for today. Anything else for the record, counselors?
No.
No, thank you.
No, nothing further.
All right, thank you, everyone. Best of luck in the coming days, and we'll see you in June.